Okay, I'm done with the gimmick because I really don't know how I would do a review without any dialogue. You literally cannot do that. So, hello there, I'm Scotty. You're not. Welcome back to the Christmas reviews. We're talking about Silent Night from 2023, this last year. Directed by John Woo, who I'm a fan of a couple of his movies. We have Face Off, Hard Target. Yes, good movies. And then he did Mission Impossible 2, and I know people will, I haven't seen it, but people will complain if I don't bring it up. Broken Arrow. Yeah. I haven't seen it yet. I will eventually, but yeah. So, you have a new John Woo movie. It stars Joel Kinnaman, and it takes place around Christmas time. And the whole premise of this is that Joel Kinnaman is on a revenge mission because previous Christmas Eve, his son was killed accidentally during a gang war. And also during that, Joel Kinnaman was shot in the throat while trying to take revenge on the guy who did it. So now his vocal cords are damaged to the point where he can no longer talk. And I read this on the back of the box, and I was like, this sounds like it could be interesting. A whole movie where your main character can't talk and you have to kind of go by everything else, And if they gave us that, I think I would like this more than they did. But they made the creative decision to have nobody talk ever. The only kind of dialogue we get is radio chatter. That's it. Otherwise, there's no dialogue. And I was, I knew the basic premise of this. So, movie started. You don't even get a reason why he's doing this. He's just chasing after these gangsters on the end. Oh, is this where this is like during the 1 year later? And we're going to flash back. No, this is right after it happened. He's chasing after these guys for no reason. He gets shot in the gut, and then he gets shot in the neck. And then you're taken to the hospital, where it becomes abundantly clear now that nobody in this movie is going to talk. There are a point where I went, why is no one talking? Because they have a nurse walk up to his wife, and then the camera zooms in on her eyes, and then zooms back to show her face in shock, and I'm just like, and she like, she does that thing where once you get bad news, you gotta back up against the wall and you slide down. She does that. My ears ringing, and I went, wait. She didn't even tell her anything. It was just, why is no one talking? And nobody in this movie talks. This movie frustrated me because a lot of exposition is done through visuals. You have to kind of visualize stuff. You have to see it and watch it. There are also messages sent via text. I don't know if you know this. My eyes suck. And I'm not the only one in the world who has bad eyesight. And they make the dumbest decision that some of this stuff has to be done through text. There's like a text that the main bad guy gets, whose name is Playa. I guess we're never told that. You wouldn't even know what the main character's name is. It's Brian, by the way. Unless you look down Wikipedia. Yeah. There's no dialogue other than radio chatter, maybe a few things. Also, like I said, they do this thing where you don't even know what's going on at first. If you didn't read the premise on the back of the box or whatever, you wouldn't know. Because he's just going after these guys to get shot, and then after he's in the hospital and the vocal cord thing happens, we flash back to see his son died in this gang war. As premises for revenge, this is flimsy at best, because this is an accident. It's not like, say, the Crow City of Angels, where they were found by the gang and no witnesses. They had to decide there was no witnesses. This is an accident. This is a gang war going on that's in a community that shouldn't have happened. It was in the middle of a street, and they just so happened to be sitting there when the guns went off. The kid wasn't shot on purpose. It wasn't some kind of revenge thing. No, it was an accident. So he decides to dedicate 1 year of his life to get revenge. His wife leaves him. Again, you have to really pay attention to the film or you won't know this. Because I'm like, he's doing all this, what happened to his wife? And then I started to realize, oh, she must have left him because he's... And like, for being an action film, a John Woo action film, aside from the beginning of this movie, there's nothing until like an hour into the film. This movie's an hour and 45 minutes. It didn't feel, I was like, oh man, this is gonna, as soon as this whole thing started with the no tape speaking, I'm like, it's gonna be one of the longest movies in the world. They're not talking. Then you get to the part where he's fighting Playa, and I'm like, okay, so this is like the middle of the movie. He's gonna fail and have to regroup and hook up with the cop, and then have to take them down together. I was sort of right, but we were 20 minutes towards the end of the film, and I went, really? We're that close to the end. The cop shows up, having gotten information somehow that was what was going on. It's Kid Cudi, by the way. Yeah, that's a choice. He has no dialogue, which, considering the dialogue in the last two movies I've seen him in, that's maybe a plus. I mean, the only two movies I've seen him in, he played the friend in the Need for Speed movie, and then himself in the Bill and Ted Face It Music. But yeah, there's a point where Brian, our main character, Joel Kinnaman, he's fighting off Playa, and he's almost like killed before Kid Cudi comes in and starts shooting up. Then there's this moment where they kind of stand there staring at each other, and I went, okay, say something. No, they just sort of lock it in. They're going to help each other and begin to take down the rest of these people. You got the guy's girlfriend, the drug obsessed girlfriend, now shooting after them, and they do eventually take both of them down. And then we get to the worst part of this movie. They decided to end this movie in the dumbest way they could have ended this, by killing off both of the main characters. They die in the shootout, and we get this, was supposed to be a poetic ending, like, oh, he's dead, but he finished his mission, and now he gets to see his son in heaven. Fuck you, that's not how you end a revenge movie. What's the point of him getting revenge if he's going to die? Now, through a letter that they decide to just show you on screen, and you're supposed to read this bullshit in this chicken scratch ass cursive they put on this letter. You're supposed to be able to read this. You couldn't even have him do a voiceover dialogue for this. No, you have to read this. I was like, I can't read that shit. My eyes suck. I had to look on Wikipedia to figure out what the hell they were trying to say. Is that he never intended to survive that. I get that. He went in, I think it's in the letter, he says he's going to die getting revenge for their son. Because he puts it in his Christmas present that the train set that he left for his son, hoping the wife would show up to see him in the anniversary, whatever. But killing him off, having him die while doing this, even Kid Cudi, and I think the main reason why they did this is that if they had to survive, they'd have to do the traditional ambulance scene, and without dialogue, it's kind of hard to do that. Although you could just have them both being patched up and look at each other and nod their heads. That could be it. My biggest problem with this ending is that he's gotten his revenge, even though it was an accident, but that this kid but he went through all these motherfuckers. He killed them all. He got his revenge. He did it. And he doesn't get to soak that in and feel satisfied about it. You know, you need to lay back with a cold beer and be like, I did it. I did it for you. He to go to his son's grave and sit there with the cold beer and say, I did it. I did what I set out to do. No. We get this symbolic ending of him reuniting with his son that even Wikipedia describes as a dream. No. If they had gone the route I thought they were going to go, where he's the only one that doesn't talk, and everyone else around him does, I think it would have worked better. It makes no sense that no one else is talking. He got shot in the vocal cords, he can't talk. What's everyone else's excuse? It makes no sense. And it's not like, oh, well, movies used to be like that, silent films. Yeah, but silent films still had dialogue. Yeah, they would pop up, you had to read, which is why I probably won't ever be attracted to silent films, because but they still give you dialogue to read in those silent films. There's no dialogue here, other than the text messages, which is an interesting way to go. And you do get music throughout, but it's not like a dun 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 old school music. It's actual music. Yo, I don't, like actual licensed music by artists. Kid Cudi probably got a song in there somewhere because he's in the movie. I guess I'm guessing he's got a song in there somewhere. But yeah. I guess maybe John Woo didn't just want to make a generic action film, which it probably could have been if it was like John Wick, where he's just trying to get revenge. Sure. Mel Gibson did the movie. Give back my son! Payback, But, I don't know. I just don't know. It just didn't sit well with me. Now, I would definitely put this on the side of John Woo movies that I don't know if I could do that. Would it be on? Because it's not bad. Joel Kinnaman is pretty good, especially because he has to convey everything with his emotions on his face. No lines, no dialogue. He's really good. And the action scenes only get him there, but they're just fine. They're not spectacular. We get the slow mo. There's no doves, really, John. Were you gonna have a dove fly out of Joel Kinnaman's ass or something? Sorry, he gets shot. All of a sudden, he gets boom, flies out. Where did that come from? I don't know. I don't know. I'll give it a middle of the road. I don't think it's as bad as Mission Impossible 2. Because that was so long. I went into this fully ready to complain about the runtime. An hour and 45 minutes. Especially when it started, there was no dialogue. I'm like, an hour and 45 minutes with no dialogue? Ugh. The movie went on. And there is kind of a lull in it. And that's during the training montage where he's getting ready to go. But then, it's maybe 20 minutes of that or so, 15 to 20 minutes. And then he goes, like I said, he goes after Playa. And I'm thinking, this is the middle of the movie, he's going to fail, and he's going to regroup with the cop, and they're going to come in guns blazing and take him down. Well, it kind of happened like that, like I said, but it was nowhere near the middle of the movie. It was towards the end. I'm like, okay, so it did kind of go fast. So it's not like it's going to be a slog unless the training montage doesn't work for you. But like I said, it's fine. I'll give it a middle of the road. I will. I'll give it a middle of the road. And I will say, I'm reviewing this as a Christmas review, but Christmas is incidental. It just so happened that his son was accidentally murdered. I gotta keep saying accidentally because it was a goddamn accident. It was just a gang war going on. The kid happened to be right there and got shot. But he was accidentally killed on Christmas Eve. So that's 1 year later, he trains for this to do it on Christmas Eve and get revenge. That's it. This even takes place in Texas, where there's not much snow at this point. So it's not really like there's a Christmas spirit. So, yeah, if that freaking thing didn't have him in a Christmas, that one didn't have a Christmas sweater. Whatever. But, like, yeah. Beginning, he's wearing a Christmas sweater. Yeah, so all the arguments I said about Die Hard, people complain that Christmas is incidental. You take that out, it wouldn't matter. You say that about this movie, because that is literally this movie. You take out Christmas, like I said, about, what was it? What movie was I talking about? You take it out, it could be on his birthday. Was it Home Alone? Where I said it was his birthday, and that he was left behind or something. I don't know. Let's say it was the kid's birthday and he died. Or Joel Kinnaman's birthday and the kid died. You know? Or just a random day. It wouldn't matter. Unlike Die Hard, which it does matter. So, yeah, middle of the road for me. So what are your thoughts on Silent Night? No comments below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.